Okay, chibuike, so this was what you did. This is your own website, right? We develop and program we program and develop websites and smart artificial intelligence. Okay, you had this normal email and phone number, and then this is location. Okay, so judging from the whole work you did, you tried based on your level of bootstrap and what you've been doing. I think you did a good job. So I just remember that I'm also schooling you in the process. So I was like, okay, let me just make a video. So this was what Chigoze gave us. If you noticed from here to here, it takes the full screen. Well, look at the job you did. It doesn't take the full screen. So you see, it's only taking like, let's say 75% of the screen. So when I checked your code, this is your code. Yes, this is your code. Fantastic. When I checked your code, I discovered that you created a head page. Okay, a head page. Then you added this image, which is the image that is currently here. And you said background cover fixed, no repeat. No, I love all the ones you did, but there was something you don't know. It's what we call background size or background height rather. So when you even created the code, I think I saw a background size. You created a background height, but there was an error on it. You forgot to add a D. But this background height you added was not working. You use 500 HIEGHD. I don't know. This thing sometimes it's confusing. Let me see. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can. So I think you were trying to create a background height of background height HIEGHD. Am I correct? Good. 500 pixels. Correct. Ah, and good. So background 500 pixels. So I think this was what you were trying to do to give it a background height of 500 pixels. Um, the problem I think I have with this is when you look at Goze's own, Goze took the whole space. So I was guessing you don't know the CSS property called VH. So VH is basically, I think I did something like this here. I remade it. Okay, sorry. You don't even use the word background height. Remember, you use the word height, not background height. I forgot that. Not so. If we should use the height you wanted to use, which was 500 pixels. Now look at what you'd have given me. You'd have given me something small like this. So if we had used your height, instead of doing this, next time when you see a particular, it's called a header or a hero. When you see a hero or a header containing the full page, don't use fixed pixels because you might have different screens. So let me show you. For instance, this thing looks kind of short here, but let us inspect and drag this here. You can see it's always reducing because this is 500 pixels, right? So the more you reduce it, it's bounding with the 500 pixels, and then we increase it, it's bounding with 500 pixels. So what you should do, JVK, is to use VH. VH means um view height. So for instance, this is from here to here is 100 view height. From here to here is 100 width. VHWH. Yes. From here to here, VWVH. Yes. From here to here is VW, 100 VW. That means 100 view width. 100 view width means the complete 100% width of this particular distance, usually 100%. I really prefer it to using, okay, let me show you for instance. If I say 90% now, right? So height 90%. Now, what this simply means, obviously, is that it's going to take 90%, right? But this 90%, for some very weird reasons, are not really 90%. Like, I think it takes based on the document. I don't know how they do it, but it's not really that accurate. Okay, let me just show you what I mean. If I still use 100%, right? That means height should be 100%. For some very weird reasons, it won't give you this 100%. So over the years, I learned to use the real height of this particular browser, and instead of using the document itself, I use the browser, which is the viewport. So if I come here and I change this thing from percentage to view height, which is VH, I want you to see a very big difference now. Now you're going to see that it's going to spread everywhere. You can see it now, right? So view height should be better off than 100%, because if you go back to 100%, you know, this is what you would see. Okay, so now the next thing to do, or when I discovered this, I said, okay, let's just use 90% VH, and it worked perfectly fine, close to what Gose did, but not exactly what Gose did, but close. And that was just what I wanted to show you. If you had, and then I also noticed something too. Look at here, you can see Gose gave, this is our Daniel Kirk logo, right? He gave some space from Daniel Kirk logo, about few paddings here, and also here he gave some paddings here. So when I checked your work, I know obviously you're an amateur, and that is why I'm trying to walk you through on the easiest way to really do this. I discovered when I inspected the elements of your job, you use normal padding, like um there were lots of space. Okay, this was it. And I discovered you created space, like empty space, different paragraph, p tag, p tag, p tag. So basically we're just giving normal space, giving normal space, giving normal space, and it doesn't really make sense giving empty spaces, because if we have this document structured in a different way, you won't do it, won't really make a whole lot of sense. So this empty spaces is nice, but when there is a whole lot of, like, I'm using I think 1080p. I've forgotten my screen resolution, but if I should take this into another screen resolution, it might not really look good. So having used p tags, I think you might not really just know the option or the best option to do. So what you should do in case of next time is, let's first of all go look for that your p tag. So I scrolled down, I think your p tag came in, this is it. So I'm going to delete this p tags you added, which is paragraph and space. If I head back to your project, yes, it has taken us up now, right? If I inspect element again, I discovered you use bootstrap. So this is like one segment, one part of the column, and that part of the column, good. But now when you look at Gose's job came almost at the bottom. You can see the email, the phone number, location, social media icons. You can see them like this, right? So how many p tags do you want to put? And if you calculate a p tags for one particular screen resolution, what if it gets viewed on a bigger screen on a project, or like things could really go bad? So what you would have simply done is, instead of having p tags like the way you did here with p tags, just simply use padding. So for instance, this is the other section, right, that shows the social media icon. You create a style and you give this a padding, not just a padding, I think it's padding top. That means from the top, how many distance you want from the top. So I won't use percentage, I'll still use that view height. So that's why I'm introducing you to view height, which is VH. Let's try 30 VH. So 30 view height, that means pattern from the top, go down 30 VH. And if you look at it, it's almost the same thing as what you would have done. The only difference is you can see the pattern. You won't see the pattern is this blue. You won't see all those your plenty space. Those things will actually make the document more heavier, because if you start creating a website like that using spaces, you could get into a big project where you're now making a 60 kilobyte file almost 400 kilobyte and all that. Okay. um okay, so this one was one, and look at the way Gose did his own. It was almost down, so I think that 30 is not enough. But before I changed the 30, I also discovered that Gose gave space from here to here, but your own space is too close. You tried anyway. Let's see if you still did your normal space that you usually do. Oh, okay, you didn't. This is nice. You didn't. Okay, but I will just give this a padding of like 10 VH, and let's just see how it goes. So it's called row. I'm going to give this a padding let's give it a padding top of 10 VH. Okay. Uh, yes, good. I was going to complete what I didn't ask it for. Okay, good. Fantastic. But it seems it is. No, I think it blends well. Because his own wasn't this far from here, but my own says completely nice. I think I'll reduce this to 5. I'll reduce this to 5. And I would make this to 35. I think now it should be like almost what Kose did. Let's confirm. Good. This one is yes, like this. Fantastic. And yeah, close to the down. Fantastic. And yeah, that was basically what Kose did. Then you did not make this thing so dark. You notice although I think you have not learned UI and UX. So part of what I do is I'm not good at front end, but I took a course last 2 years, 2020, on UI and UX, which is user interface. And I wanted to do it because my website was too whack. And the way people judge, if the website doesn't look very good catching, you obviously think it's shady. People get to judge the credibility of a website based on how it looks, funny as it sounds. So I had to take a UI UX, but after going through it, I discovered that if I really want the best, I have to give a professional UI and UX. But taking the course gave me faint ideas on what UI and UX entails. So even if I did not chase a career in it, at least I understood part of some concepts. I would make things a bit I would make things a bit better for me to understand. So, for instance, there is what we call visibility of content. So, you can see that this place or this background you added is not too dark, and because it's not too dark, it is not letting us see. Like, I can see clearly, obviously, I don't have eye issues, but because my screen is good, I use a very good screen, but I could have a bad monitor that would conflict with the background, like the background would be too white and this text would be too white. It's going to be a problem for me. I hope my microphone is good. It's going to be a problem for me. And if somebody has eye problem, don't be able to see this. So the rule of thought is to use a darker black with a white, or a darker white with a black, or a brighter white with a black. So I already redid this, so but I just wanted to use your own work directly to show you. So what you would do next time is, if you're making an image like this, try to make it a bit darker if you're going to be using white lights. And yes, and also if you look at Gose's own, you can see vividly these letters are kind of easier to read because the background looks a bit darker as compared to here. I think here is still nice, but then let it just be dark a bit. So let me screw up on your code and see if you did anything that would help us. Okay, not like I can see. So what I would simply just do is to create this your head, this thing you created, your head page. I want to do something called, I think it's called before, or is it after? I can't remember, but I will just check. So what this simply means is, if you have done CSS before and after, I think they're called pseudo elements. You can target an element and put something after it or before it. So I would try to do something before, first of all. So the first thing to do is to put your position of the original element. So I'll put the position of the original element to be relative, and the position of this other one to be absolute. If you understand how absolute works, you understand what I'm doing. But if you don't understand absolute and relative, just make a quick Google search. It would help you out. I'm going to do content, and I'm going to make the content to be empty, and I'm going to give it a background color of, it's going to be transparent, and I'll tell you why. But let me just make it black first of all, then I will tell you why I'm making it transparent later. So black, and if I go back, you won't be able to see any difference, right? That's because when you create pseudo elements, they're nothing except you give it a width and a height. So I'm going to give it a width of 100%, um 100 a wall, 100%, and a height of 100%. So what this basically just means is let it be the same size as same width and same height. This time around I'm not using viewport because I'm trying to viewport actually takes the consideration of this particular window, which is the browser, but I'm using percentage, so it will take you know consideration of the content it is inside, which is it will be referring to this particular folder itself. So now you can see we've used all black, and for some obvious reasons, you can see it's purely black. The letters are easy to read, I can just read them out. But there is one big problem. The big problem is that image is no longer there, right? So we can't see that thing that is there because it has covered it. So the way before works, go browse about it. It comes before this, right? So that means it will come before the background image. Now, what you could do is to have a transparent black RGBA. RGBA means RGBA and good. Then I'll just go for black. Still normal black. Oh, ah, sorry, RGBA. Then I would have to add okay semicolon. Okay, so this is RGBA. Then if I put one by default means opacity of one, so it's still gonna be the same thing, no different. But this is where the sweetness comes up. If I do this into 0.8 for instance, it simply means let it be transparent a bit. So you can now see that that image now shows, so I can see the hand over here and I can still vividly see what is written over here. So I think it is too much. I'm going to change this to, let's say, 7. Let's put it at 7 first and see. Fantastic. So it looks a bit more better than it was before. We can actually just play with it. Let me delete it first of all and show you what it looks like. Nah, this is it before. You can see it's more, there is bright light, it could be conflicting, and Control Z. This is what we added out before. And you see that it is a bit darker now. Good. So we could just even just leave it at, let's say, 5, which is 50% visibility. So it will still be visible, but a bit darker. We just added a bit darkness to it. And you this is not just for darkness alone. You could do this for basically almost anything. Like I could make this anything at all and it would be fine. So I just changed it a bit of blue. Good. So yes, this is what I noticed. And then this is your social media icons. Look at what Gose did. It was white. So I guess you don't know that you could simply just make this into white since you're using Bootstrap. Just go over to where you have all your icons. I think this was where you had all your icons. This was the class. Just come here and type tests white, and that is it. It would automatically make all the things white. So let me head back to here and make this thing to be pure black the way. Okay, good, pure black, and let's change this to 7. So Chibuike, I think overall you did a very good job, and I'm impressed. You did awesomely well, and the corrections are just to get you better. If you're asking why this thing is not getting so close, it's because I use an ultra screen. My screen is kind of wide. If I keep it on a smaller screen, the way the normal computers would be, to fit just exactly the way God's own is. You're only seeing it like this because my screen is kind of over wide. I think you did an overall good job. I'm only remodifying the website more because I discovered it was actually the way Gosse did it was between a portfolio and a company's website, which I'm thinking of just putting it fully as a company website rather than just a personal portfolio. Because honestly, I'll be working with the team and not just me. And I wouldn't want the website to look like this. This is an okay, like everything about an okay. I would want it to look like this is a firm because we already have our company registered for years right now. So that being said, I'm trying to restructure the wordings and everything. This is what I've been able to carve out so far. bring your apps and software ideas to reality. We develop web apps and softwares with the help of artificial intelligence and years of experience. We also develop smart software to automate forex trading, crypto trading, betting, website traffic, marketing, and more. So, looking at it right now, you can already see that okay, fine, this is people who create apps, software, they also do automation. And down here, I'm trying to do a lot of modifications, based on what you did. So, I'm trying to modify them so it suits exactly to what, or a better version of what because they did. So I want to thank you very much. The first design we did, which is the first one we gave to, I think, what's his name again? I wouldn't want to even call his name. The guy that created stupid ass shit for us. This is it. No, not making sense. These are most times as if I want to do my website coding myself because you give it to people to do, and oh man, sometimes as if they don't take it serious. I don't know why, but no complaints. I will just make sure I give you the best version that it can be, obviously. Okay, so chibuike, hope you took corrections. First thing first, VH means view height, VW means view width. They refer to the browser screen. You can use that for padding so as to fit it properly. So no matter what the screen resolution is, it would fit in perfectly fine, and it would work perfectly fine. You can see how it is, right? If you were using a fixed percentage or a fixed, what is it called again, width, it wouldn't be like this. Okay, then for these sections, obviously would use mobile responsive queries when we get to that stage to make everything extremely responsive. I just hope you learnt quite a couple of things. You can always ask questions on my WhatsApp if you don't understand anyone. Okay, so till next time, thank you very much for the job done so far. I deeply appreciate you coming around, even if I know it took you almost a lifetime to get this done, which spoiled a whole lot of things. But at least your seriousness came in when you had to go back to still do it, and that I really appreciate. So thank you very much for the time and everything. When I'm done with the project, I would update it. For now, what is on the website is still that worker sheet this guy created for us. But when we're done, we'll upload the new design. So thank you.